The story this time is the creepiest story I've ever heard. Usually, if I have story material, I always inform the nearest person first. Ask them if the story is interesting or not. Those who listen to this story are really scary. The story this time comes from Japan, about a taxi driver who experiences the strangest events. Before we get into the details of the horrific true story this time, everyone, welcome back to Mystery Night, and don't forget to subscribe. Then turn on the notification and spread this video to all your friends who like terrible stories based on true stories. Let's start with the horrific story for this episode. From this story, a taxi driver made me nervous the most because I heard it and then I imagined that, for example, I was in this taxi driver's position. I might have gotten cold feet from all over the wind. You listen to the story this time, and I want you to listen to the story. The story is in 2012, a grown man who works as a taxi driver, and this gentleman's name is Toshiyuki Hashiyama. Let's call him Toshiyuki, who was a 63-year-old man. Been working for the last 36 years as a professional taxi driver. He usually operates in the Japanese city of Hiroshima, in his hometown. All roads he has explored and memorized. Toshiyuki was also known as an expert and friendly taxi driver. But on September 4th, 2012, he experienced a very strange occurrence that could not be seen. He's forgotten his entire career as a taxi driver. Entering the rainy season in Japan, precisely in Hiroshima City, became wet and cold. But due to his persistence, Toshi continued to work, even at a quiet night. At 8:46 p.m., Toshi was driving his taxi. He stopped at a traffic light intersection while waiting for the lights to turn green. Suddenly, she looked out of her taxi window on the left, and the look on the face of a man, Toshiyuki, was surprised that the man was crouching down to look inside the taxi car. His facial expression was stiff, flat, and as if cold. After they exchanged their views, this man said nothing, walked toward the back of a taxi. When Toshi was shocked and confused and rushed out of his cab, Toshi walked to the back of his cab to follow the man. In front of Toshi, a man was about 180 centimeters tall, thin, dressed in blue, and still around 20 years old. This mysterious man just kept looking at the trunk of Toshi's cab. At this moment, Toshi doesn't know who this man is, but for the sake of the story, we will temporarily call this man the Mystery Man, now that Toshi is looking at some strange, mysterious man's behavior. The Mystery Man was carrying a very big bag, Build-A-Bag. It's like a gym bag, but it's bigger. At that moment, Toshi thought maybe a mysterious man wanted to take a taxi and wanted to put this bag in the trunk of the car. So Toshi got into the car to press the button to open the trunk of the taxi car. And anyway, he went straight to the Mystery Man, offered to help him put a bag in the trunk of his cab. Toshi had time to see clearly and closely with the mysterious man's face. The mysterious man's face was flat and also full of sweat, even though it's rainy season and the air is very cold outside. But why is this mysterious man's face wet with sweat? Even so, the situation is a little strange. Toshiyuki, as a professional taxi driver, tries to provide the best and also friendly service. Suddenly, this mysterious man gave his bag to Toshi. When Toshi brought the mysterious man's bag, he felt strange. Toshi felt the bag was very heavy, and in addition, the bag was also held by the Toshi. The Toshi felt strange again. The Toshi felt soft and warm from the contents of the bag. Toshi's instinct says that something is not right here, like something is strange, but Toshi tries to ignore his feelings and hastily closes the trunk door. Immediately walking to the side of the car to open the back door of the car and allow the mysterious man to enter, the mysterious man then walks into the back seat, and according to testimony from Toshi, mysterious men walk in strange ways, or the way they walk is a bit unnatural. A mysterious man walks very, very stiffly as his legs move to step, but his body is stiff as if there's a rope tying his body, back or body really upright as if there's a log supporting him. When this mysterious man has entered the passenger seat, Toshi immediately took a brisk walk to the driver's seat and closed the door. Toshi and the mystery man at this moment are now in the cab. Before leaving, Toshi asked this mysterious man, "Where are you going in between, sir?" Toshi also looked in the middle rearview mirror to look at the mysterious man, and the mysterious man's voice was very slow. It doesn't sound like Toshi. Toshi asked once more like, "Mister, where are you going with him?" The second time this mysterious man in a soft, slightly slow voice replied, "I want to be escorted to Hiroshima Station." Toshi, who heard the answer from this mysterious man, immediately left in his car heading towards Hiroshima Station. At 8:49 p.m. the taxi drove off. The situation in this taxi was really strange. According to Toshi's testimony, the situation was so quiet that it was so uncomfortable that something was wrong with the situation. As if it were strange, this mysterious man had been sitting stiffly, with his face so flat and without a word coming out of his mouth, just silent with a blank look. To break the silence, Toshi took the initiative to turn on the radio in his car's dashboard. His radio voice was slow, just to fill his mind. Toshi wanted to break the silence that night by listening to the music on the radio and occasionally looking at the mysterious man through the middle rearview mirror. At that time, Toshi saw that the mysterious man was still looking forward with his rigid body position, his face flat, and his gaze blank. According to Toshi's story, for 36 years he's been a professional taxi driver. He's been in a very, very unusual and strange situation. No. How long did it go? Suddenly this mysterious man spoke to Toshi that he changed his mind. She said that she wanted to change the travel route from Hiroshima Station to Fukuya Department Store. According to Toshi, this is actually very common. Often taxi passengers change their destination. Toshi told the mysterious man, "Well, sir, we're on our way there." And then he rerouted the trip to the Fukuya Department Store. Basically, Fukuya Department Store with Hiroshima Station. The road is still in the same direction, like next to each other. It only increases the duration of the trip to 15 minutes when the situation is normal. The additional duration to 15 minutes is relatively short, but due to the strange situation, 15 minutes of travel at that time. It's going to be a long time. At 8:54 p.m., while driving the car, suddenly Toshi found another strange event. Toshi heard a noise like the noise from inside the car, unconsciously looking towards the central rearview mirror to check and see that the mysterious man with a flat face had absolutely nothing to move about, still sitting stiffly. Toshi was confused as to where the source of the sound came from. He realized that the sound was not coming from the mysterious man, but came from the trunk of the car. But Toshi is still prejudiced. Maybe when Toshi was driving his bag shake so that it was hit from the trunk. It's normal. If we're driving the car again, hurry up and turn around. Maybe something will fall in the trunk that shakes eventually make a sound. Still with a positive mind, Toshi focused on driving again. While listening to music from the radio on the dashboard of the car. Suddenly, the radio in his car switched directly to an information broadcast or announcement to the public. The contents of the announcement are news of a little boy's case who was just kidnapped by an unknown person today. As soon as Toshi heard the news, she immediately remembered the big bag that was carried by the mystery man. She also remembered the sound coming out of the trunk of her taxi car. Once she realized something strange, Toshi immediately turned off the radio on his dashboard and closed the car window. Toshi drives his car a little slow because if there's a strange sound, he can listen clearly. When the car arrived at the traffic light that was on red light, automatically Toshi stopped. He really focused on listening to the strange sound, anticipating if there was any more sound coming from the trunk of his car. A few seconds, Toshi waited and didn't hear any sound. That's when Toshi was relieved because maybe Toshi felt hallucinations because of the fatigue she experienced. And maybe it was the sound of stuff falling. Maybe it's all just bad prejudice, Toshi. That's what he had in mind. The traffic light turned green again. The car drove back. After a few seconds, the car drove suddenly. Toshi heard a strange sound which was louder. Toshi was beginning to believe that the sound was coming from the trunk of his car, and he was beginning to believe that the situation was too strange for him. Toshi wants to turn on the SOS signal in his cab. Little information. In Japan, the taxi car, or in the public vehicle, is equipped with a secret button if anything happens. If pressed, it becomes an SOS signal that will appear. The social signal can only be seen from outside the vehicle, more precisely in the rear area of the taxi car. When people are outside or on the road, if they see an SOS signal from a bus taxi or a public vehicle, it is recommended to call the police because it could be a taxi in a public vehicle. This is in a dangerous state. Then Toshi abandoned his intention. He did not push the SOS button because Toshi did not want to make a fuss. Toshi thinks it could be wrong. It could be all just a bad feeling. If, for example, the accusation of Toshi's feelings is wrong, he will be subject to sanctions in the form of false reports from the police and also to sanctions from the company and personal demands from his passengers. Toshi also had no complete evidence and also during the journey was not taken prisoner or taken hostage by the mysterious man. The mystery man was just sitting in the back, not committing any criminal act. Toshi. So maybe it's all just a bad feeling, so Toshi doesn't press the SOS signal button. However, Toshi also can't completely remove his bad feeling and is a little sure that this situation is too strange. Toshi became curious with the contents of the bag carried by the mystery man. He suspected that in the bag the mystery man was carrying was a living thing, whether it was a human or an animal. It just can't be like Toshi asking me that. The best thing Toshi can do right now is pretend to be stupid and pretend nothing happened. A few minutes later, Toshi's curiosity grew so that this Toshi was reckless and asked the mystery man. Toshi looked at the back seat and asked the mysterious man, "The bag is filled with dogs, isn't it?" Looking at the mysterious man from the rearview mirror in the middle, who is waiting for an answer from the mysterious man. However, this mysterious man just kept silent without any words or sentences coming out of his mouth, still sitting stiffly with empty eyes forward. Toshi kept quiet and continued on their journey. When Toshi was convinced that what was in her bag, this mysterious man, was something that wasn't supposed to be in the bag, at 8:59 p.m., about 5 minutes to the destination, Toshi thought of an idea. Since Toshi was a professional taxi driver for decades, he was familiar with the conditions of the streets of Hiroshima City and realized that there's a police station up ahead. Only this police station is located on a small street, not on a large and main street. So on this trip, if only he had walked straight, he would have gotten to the main store department's destination sooner. But to get to the police station, Toshi had to turn off the main street to the small street. This small street would pass through the police station and then penetrate again into the big street to the department store's Fukuoka. Because Toshi was already feeling very strange what happened at that time. In the end, Toshi turned his car into a small street that would later pass through the police station. The clock showed 21:03 ps.m. The mysterious man was unconscious due to his vacant gaze and was seen still sitting stiffly in the passenger seat suddenly. The mysterious man did something which made the Toshi nervous. The mysterious man spoke to Toshi, "Sir, please turn on the air conditioner," with a Toshi's nervousness, and he immediately started the air conditioner on the dashboard of the car. The car continued to run quietly and quietly, about 200 or 300 meters ahead, a sign that said the police post. When Yoshi saw the police station immediately speeding, because she wanted to get to the police station sooner, when she was speeding, suddenly the traffic light at the crossroads near the police station, which was once green, now turned red. Toshi knowingly stopped the car. With the atmosphere increasingly nervous and tense, according to Toshi, this was the longest minute and a half of his life to wait for the lights to return to green. While waiting for the traffic light to turn green again, suddenly Toshi clearly heard the sound from his trunk. This voice is no longer a rumbling sound, but it's a sound, a human voice that says, "Get it out. I'm getting me out of here." Toshi heard the sound clearly. Toshi Sekra automatically looks into the central mirror looking at the mysterious man, but the expression of this mysterious man changes directly, who was initially full of blank glances, but now looks with a glaring look at the middle mirror looking back at Yuki's Toshi. Toshi immediately asked the mysterious man, "Sir, did you put a human in the bag?" But the mysterious man kept staring and just looked at Toshi. A few seconds later, the mystery man grabbed the door of the taxi and drove out. Toshi got out of the car and immediately approached the mystery man. Toshi holds the mysterious man's hand to keep the mysterious man from leaving and shouts loudly to the local community for help, the people around him. Luckily, the mystery man didn't put up a fight at all. He just shut up like he surrendered and felt guilty. The people around came to Toshi and the mystery man. The people around wondered, what happened? Toshi also replied that he needed police help because the mysterious man put a human in a bag. Toshi immediately re-entered the mysterious man with the help of local residents into the car and locked his taxi car. After that, Toshi hurried to open the trunk of his cab. When the trunk of his car opened to pick up the mystery man's bag, sure. In a mysterious man's bag, it turns out that there's a girl who had only been 12 years old. This little girl looked scared and cried. Then Toshi took out this little girl, and Toshi Yuki was a little relieved that this little girl physically looked fine. No injuries were found. Not long after the police arrived, they immediately observed the situation and also arrested the mysterious man. Now, surely you want to know who this mystery man really is? This mysterious man turned out to be a young man born in 1988 in Russia, 20 years old at the time of the incident. Tomohiro is a very smart student and excelled in his studies and even joined the science club in his school. Although not a popular student, he has quite a lot of friends, getting along well and not having a bad record at school. But getting older, Tomohiro is actually getting more introverted and fun with his own world of computer games and enjoying the anime. The anime he enjoyed were mostly anime with cute girl themes like Pretty Cure at the time. She was once again loved by girls because of her intelligence, and Tomohiro was accepted to Seiho University, one of Japan's most prestigious universities. Whether it's Tomohiro or not, he has to move to the Japanese city of Tokyo. His friends and people around his college knew Tomohiro as a gentle and honest student. So in this case, his friends and people who knew Tomohiro were like they didn't believe that Tomohiro had a particular interest in girls. His parents divorced in the middle of college, and Tomohiro became depressed until he had to repeat one level because he often did not attend class. From here, he gets excited. It's like a violent game, like a gunfight. That night, Tomohiro was found to be returning from Tokyo to Hiroshima to take a driver's license exam. While in Hiroshima, Tomohiro stayed alone in a hotel. Then at 8:03 p.m. that night, Tomohiro was taking a leisurely stroll and met a young girl who was 12 years old. This little boy's identity is classified. For the sake of the story, let's call it Alexa. That night, Alexa was waiting for the bus at the bus stop to go home. Alexa is known to come home from additional lessons, and as usual, Alexa's mother will be waiting at the next bus stop to pick up Alexa. But suddenly from behind, the Tomohiro showed a knife to Alexa, so Alexa was shocked and frightened. Tomohiro then asked Alexa to shut up and take Alexa to a quieter area. Tomohiro then tied Alexa up with tape and forced her into a large race. In this bag, Alexa curled up in the big bag. Tomohiro wants to take Alexa to a hotel he just booked. It's near Hiroshima Station, and the hotel is different from the place last night he wanted to go. Because it's heavy, it's far, and it's risky. That's why Tomohiro decided to transport this bag by taxi. In this taxi, he met a driver named Toshiyuki. Luckily, Mr. Toshiyuki managed to stop Tomohiro's kidnapping. As a result of this, Tomohiro was sentenced to 4 years in prison on charges of forced confinement of minors. However, Tomohiro's family compensated Alexa for 2 million yen, or $12,800. So that Tomohiro's sentence was reduced by 1 year. After Tomohiro's release, it was no longer heard from him. Some say that he now lives with his grandmother in an unspecified area, while Toshi becomes famous for being a legendary taxi driver in Hiroshima after the girls' rescue efforts. Little information on twist plot, Toshi to trigger, that this was a kidnapping. When he listened to the radio on the dashboard of his car that night, Toshiyuki thought that news of his abduction was about Alexa in his trunk. And it turns out that the kidnapping news radioed was another kidnapping news about the kidnapping case that until now has not been solved. So that's the story of a Toshi cab driver who saved a 12-year-old girl. Child abduction is a real and present danger. It happens everywhere, every day. We must protect our children, teach them to never talk to strangers, supervise them closely, and report any suspicious behavior. Visit the ICMEC website or call their hotline for more information. Protect our children. Together we can prevent child abduction.